We're gonna have the world's best chocolates in a minute. I might have just completely fucked that. You're the cock, you're the cock, you're the cock. Oh, hello boy, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've done anything cooking or food related, but I'm back with a vengeance. My name is David Templar, aka The Temptation, aka The Shirtless Chef. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make white chocolate Eton mess bonbons. So, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, what the fuck are you playing at? Go follow me now. For those of you who don't follow me on any other forms of social media, I am currently on the Chocolate Challenge with the Hairy Bikers. It is a Channel 5 programme filming with the Hairy Bikers, and the premise of the show is that basically it's split into two parts. So the first half of the show is a chocolate creative challenge whereby you are given a task and you have to come up with a chocolate sculpture. The second part of the episode is then bringing that to life. So you've got to do the product, packaging, marketing, and you have to deliver that pitch to one of the marketing people at Nestle. So it's kind of like a toss-up between the Great British Bake Off and The Apprentice. We're building chocolate and then packaging it and marketing it, and it's really good fun. If you aren't watching so far, again, go and check it out. But I'm into round 3, and today I thought that I would make my creation from round 2 and video it for you all to give a go at home. This is super simple. Basically, the challenge was to take a popular English dessert, I just spat everywhere, and transform that into a chocolate. So my favourite pudding in the world, my mum makes it for me all the time, is an Eton mess. So an Eton mess is meringue, fruit, and basically I've put that into a chocolate. Now, I'm running competitions on my Instagram every week. The day that the show comes out, which is Wednesdays, Channel 5, 10 o'clock, I'm getting people to post pictures of me onto their channel to say, oh look, Temptation's on the TV tonight, and then I'm picking one lucky winner to win a prize. So the first week I sent out some chocolates, and I thought the second week I'm going to up my game. I'm going to make some chocolates for the winners. So these are coming your way. Anyway, enough of the smelly chat, I'm going to get on with it. So, first things first, you want to make sure that you are properly prepared, and there's a few things you need to know about chocolate before starting. So number 1, chocolate and moisture do not go hand in hand at all. So you want to get things as dry as possible, and also if you're adding any colour or anything like that into your chocolates, you want to make sure that they're not water based. Secondly, having dirt and grease and stuff in your moulds again can affect the chocolate. So first things first, you want to make sure that your moulds are really, really clean. So how are we going to do this? I'm using lemon juice and a bit of kitchen towel, but you can also use alcohol, basically anything that's not really water based, but it's going to clean your mould. So the best thing to use is a bit of alcohol and cotton wool buds. I don't have that, and I actually stole these offset from the show, so shh, keep that one quiet. Anyway, relating to the moulds themselves, there are loads of different ones available. I have gone for, I can't remember the bloody name of them, polycarbonate moulds. These are rock hard. They've got a really nice shiny interior to them, so when you flip the chocolate out of the mould, they should come out perfectly. Other ones that you may see people use on the show are silicone moulds, and they've sort of, I don't have any here, they've got like a flexible rubbery shell, so it makes it easy to get the chocolates out. But what you find is, and what is coming across in the show, when you pour chocolate into them, you can't really get a consistent base. So you could pour chocolate in it and one side's really thick, you could pour chocolate in it and the other side's like really thin, so you just don't have that level of consistency that you get with the polycarbonate mould. So I am just cleaning these out, as I said, using the lemon juice. They should be fairly clean because I remember cleaning them after I used them last time, but we're just going to make sure we do that anyway. Also, as I said, chocolate doesn't like moisture, so you want to refrain from using a glass bowl to melt your chocolate. Plastic is better. I'm sure you've done this before when you put something in the microwave. If it's glass or like a casserole dish or something like that, it kind of gets condensation on the inside of it. Again, that doesn't work well with the chocolate, so doing it in a plastic bowl helps. And again, you want to try and use plastic spatulas or wooden spoons or things like that. Again, for the same reason, you don't want to have moisture in your chocolate, because it basically, it fucks it up. Okay, so moving on to the chocolate. What we're going to do is something called tempering. This, and excuse my description of this if I've got it wrong, this is, I haven't ever made chocolate before in my life before going on the show, so this is just stuff that I've picked up anecdotally. And what I understand from tempering chocolate is, so there's crystals inside the chocolate, and basically when you create your chocolates, you want it to have a nice shiny finish and you want it to snap really nicely. So what you've got to do is you've got to bring your chocolate up to a certain temperature, which I believe for this chocolate I'm using is 45 degrees. That basically aligns all the crystals inside the chocolate. Then you do something called seeding it. So you put cold chocolate into the warm chocolate and it brings the temperature back down. So you bring it up to 45 degrees, and in fact it says it on the side of this packet. The tempering temperatures of chocolate differs depending on the brand that you use. I'm using Calabao. It is the creme de la creme of chocolate. You don't want to be using shit chocolate when you make stuff like this. You want to be going premium and use the best. So yeah, bring the temperature up to 45 degrees. And I've got my little candy thermometer to do that. You're then going to seed it by putting room temperature chocolate back into that to bring it back down. And for white chocolate, your working temperature is 29 degrees. So you're going to bring the chocolate down to 27 degrees and then slightly microwave it just for a couple of seconds to bring it up so it's nice and fluid and it will pour into the mould. So, clean mould. I've got my plastic bowl for the chocolate. I am going to weigh out, I think probably 250 grams of chocolate. And then the seeding process, you typically want to put 10% of chocolate in. So if I've got 250 grams of white chocolate, to cool it back down, I'm going to start off with 25 grams of chocolate. See how we get on. If it needs a bit more, it needs a bit more. This chocolate is expensive. Okay. 250 grams there. Let me just try it to see it tastes okay. Oh, best white chocolate you'll ever try. So yeah, we've got our white chocolate in there. I'm gonna pop this in the microwave. Do not do it for longer than 30 seconds at a time. Chocolate burns, it ruins the chocolate, it will make it taste horrible, and this is expensive, so it's just a waste of money as well. So 30 seconds at a time, give it a stir. You want to make sure that all the lumps come out of it. And then, as I say, you're going to put the other chocolate in to cool it down. So, let's go to the microwave. "30 seconds. You may be wondering why I've got my top off. I call myself the shirtless chef. Basically, at the end of 2018, I appeared on a TV show called The Big Audition. And basically, I was asked to make olive oil fun. How on earth can you make olive oil fun? I took my top off, rubbed it all in my body and called myself the shirtless chef. Anyway, there was 6 months in between me filming that and launching it, so I started creating the shirtless chef content so that when it came out, I had loads of content backed up to be able to promote myself. Anyway, it's kind of stuck on. I do it on TikTok, I've started bringing it across to Instagram, and now we're on YouTube. And basically, it may look like it's egotistical, but I think because I document my whole life on Instagram, it's a proof point that my ethos works. So I'm an online personal trainer. It's really hard to build that personality and that relationship with people through a computer screen. So I feel like I have to put all of my life on social media so people trust me enough to be able to buy into my program. Part of that is me practicing what I preach. So if I go on a big binge or a bender, or similarly, if I'm really restricted with my diet and I'm training well, and you see the change in my body shape, you know that what I'm telling you actually works and it is how I actually live my life. So try and look past the fact that it's egotistical. Yes, I've got my top off. Yes, I'm in okay shape. Yes, it is good for the likes and engagement, but there's a bigger picture to it. Anyway, chocolate's had 30 seconds in. Where's my spoon? You'll probably notice that this doesn't melt too much the first time round, but as I said, you don't want to burn it. So we're going to put that in for another 30 seconds. This is great. I love talking to camera. What else can we talk about? So, the chocolate challenge with the Hairy Bikers was so much fun to film, and it hasn't even aired. There's 5 weeks of the show. I can't tell you how I get on, but I can tell you that I'm into week 3. And I just met so many cool people along the way. The Hairy Bikers are absolutely unbelievable to film with. The judge, Ruth, wasn't as nice. She was a bit mean to me. But no, yeah, really, really good experience. I filmed it with 2 for the production team, and it's now on Channel 5. Really, really good group of guys, and it's made me want to do more TV for sure. Starting to melt. The smell. The smell of chocolate. Chocolate boy. The trick here is to not get too excited. If it's not melting, don't put it in for a minute and think, it'll be okay, because it does melt really quickly. And yeah, you're just gonna ruin your chocolate. Shut the chef boy! Oi! It's starting to melt and liquidize and go all yummy. Movement is the key to tempering chocolate. Don't just put it in the microwave and wait for it all to go to liquid, because as you move it, it starts melting more. Oh, this is looking good! Oh, just flick chocolate everywhere, boy. It's so tempting to lick that spoon, but I can't do that because I'm sending these away. Here's another thing that I saw people do on the show. Not necessarily with chocolate, but when you're making caramel, you need to bring it up to a certain temperature. People were putting the thermometer into the pan and it was touching the bottom, so you're not getting the temperature of the caramel, you're getting the temperature of the bottom of the pan, which is obviously going to be fucking hot because it's on the heat. So, there's a little temps tip for you. If you are measuring stuff with the thermometer, make sure you're measuring what you want to be hot, not the blooming bottom of a pan. I'm not looking very riggy at the minute. I've been eating way too much chocolate. We're there, we are up to 45 degrees. So now, as I said, you want to put 10% chocolate in it to seed it, to cool it down to your working temperature. So, I'm just going to put 25 grams in there. We're going to stir that round until it comes back down to 29 degrees. 27 degrees. So as you can see, oh, that is nice and liquidy. I don't want to pour it too much and it falls out. Oh, here's another thing. So on the show, you only actually have to temper your chocolate in the first episode. After that, they actually temper it for you. So obviously, they bring it up to the temperature, bring it down, and then they let it sit in some sort of container at that temperature. It just saves the hassle of having to do this every time. I'll tell you what, he's only got to hit the 27, isn't he? Perfect. So now, we want to work while the chocolate is like this. So as I said, 27 degrees. I'm literally going to bang this in for 5 seconds to bring it back up to 29. There you go. Now, this is at working temperature. So I'm just going to clear this a little bit, and you're going to see why. Make sure you've got a nice clean surface. And basically, what we're going to do is take our mould and pour the chocolate into the shells. Look at that. Oh, aesthetics on the geese. And what's really helpful here is to get a palette knife, push the chocolate all around the moulds, so you're filling them all up to the top. Oh, that is perfect! I'm getting way too gassed. Right, so what you want to do is leave your chocolates this way up, and you want to bash them down. This gets out any air bubbles that may be in there, and it makes sure it sits into the mould. And now what you're going to do is flip this upside down, so the chocolate runs out, and you're going to use your palette knife to hit it like this, so that all the excess chocolate comes out. You don't want the shell to be too thick, so you let it hang like this upside down, turn it back up, and you're just going to use your palette knife again to straighten up the edges. So glide that across the top, it just cuts it all off and gives you a nice finish. So you're now going to put these to the side to set. Try not to put it in the fridge. As I said, moisture and chocolate do not go hand in hand. In a fridge there is moisture, but if your kitchen's quite hot, they're not going to set, so you may have to. So I'll leave that one up to you. I'm just going to put mine to the side. Do not waste this chocolate. You can put this back into your pot, and then we can just re-temper that again, because you're going to need to fill the bottoms of the chocolate once you put your filling in. Okay, next up, it is time to make the sauce to go in the middle, and this couldn't be simpler. I feel like this really complements the sweetness of the white chocolate. We're going to be using strawberries and raspberries today, partly because they're reduced in Waitrose. Ooh, Waitrose! Basically, all you're going to do, first of all, cut the tops off your strawberries. This is going to make more than enough of the chocolate, so I'm just going to keep some, for after. And this is super simple. You're basically just going to heat the strawberries and raspberries up with a little bit of icing sugar and lemon. Try not to put too much liquid on it, because the reason this works is you're taking the moisture out of the strawberries in order to make it into that nice coulis. So you don't want to add too much liquid into it. The hairy biker's taught me how to do this, so you know it's good. Okay, so we've got all of our strawberries cut up. Let's just put them in the packet. Now I'm going to bring you over here with me, because we are going to get these on the heat. Right, so we're going to get a pan on the heat. Let that heat up. Okay, so once your pan is nice and hot, you're just going to chuck your berries into the pan. You're going to get the juice of 1 lemon and squeeze it over the top. Do it through your hands so you can catch the pips if any come out. Oh, I've got a cut on my hand. Ouch! Give that a little mix around. This is going to take about 15 minutes because you really just want to condense and juice all these down. I should probably have cut the strawberries in half, to be fair. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. Just keep stirring this and really reduce it down. The raspberries will start to go first, which is excellent. As you can see, as this reduces down, all the liquid is starting to come out of the fruit, which is excellent. Now, I'll show you what we're going to do. You're going to grab yourself some icing sugar and you're just going to dust the top of it, like so. And you're just going to keep cooking this until the strawberries reduce down. As you can see, look, as I push through that, they're almost gone to mush. So this probably needs a couple more minutes and then we're going to get this into the food processor. I need to try and do this without spilling it. We're just going to pour this into the blender. Oi. Fucking hell, that smells good. And blend it up. Now, you want that to cool before pouring it into the chocolate moulds because obviously it will just melt the chocolate otherwise. So we're going to pour that into a jug. Oi. And cool it in the fridge. Okay, so while the shells are cooling and so is your coulis, we are going to make some meringue. Obviously this is an Eton mess chocolate. The meringue is going to sit on top and I am going to show you exactly how to make it. So first of all, you need a very clean glass bowl. So you can either use vinegar or lemon juice to clean it all out and dry it with a paper towel. Do exactly the same for your whisk. Any grease in this is going to massively affect it. So everything needs to be clean. Next up, you want some liquid egg whites. Ideally, these will be at room temperature. These have been in the fridge for me, but yeah, we'll worry about that later. For every 1 egg white, you're going to need 55 grams of caster sugar. So I'm just going to measure out 2 egg whites. I'm actually using these ones that are already in a carton from 2 chicks. And the good thing about it is you can see on the side how many whites are in there. So, let's see how many we got. So I've put 3 egg whites in there, which means 55 plus 55 is 110, plus another 55, we want 165 grams of sugar. So there's my egg whites. We're going to measure out 165 grams of caster sugar. Like so. Pop that to one side for a second. And also you're going to want some cream of tartar. Basically, you're going to put your eggs into this bowl. And we're going to put a drop of cream of tartar in there, which stabilises the egg. This is fucking length. I'm basically going to whisk this with a hand whisk because I don't have an electric one. So if there's any companies out there that want to send me one, I would gratefully receive one. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to get a good arm workout in. So we've got the cream of tartar in there with the egg whites in a very, very clean bowl. And you're just going to whisk this until the egg white is at soft peaks. Once it gets to soft peaks, you're going to gradually add your sugar in until it is nice and glossy. We're then going to put that into a piping bag. I don't have any piping bags, so it's just going to be a plastic bag. We'll cut the corner off and then we'll pipe it. So as you can see, this is already fluffing up nicely, and that is because the bowl is nice and clean and I've stabilised the egg using that cream of tartar. Meringue is actually really, really difficult. I nailed it on the show, so it's about me. And look, as you can see, this is already getting nice and fluffy. You want to do it until it sort of sticks to the whisk, and then you can start incorporating the sugar into it. And then, when the meringue's done properly, you should be able to hold the bowl over your head and it doesn't fall out. Oh, I'm getting good at this. You don't want to over whisk it, so I think that is just about perfect for the egg whites. So now we're going to start gradually putting this in. You don't want to do too much at a time. You're just going to add that in, and this is the hard bit. This is the bit that seems to be so difficult by hand. Come on! Why won't you get hard? Oh, come on! Come on, man! Bloody meringue, it's so difficult to do by hand. Oi, oi! Zoe from the shows just texted me. What an absolute babe she is. We had such a good laugh on the show. And she's a good friend of mine now. Arm's killing. Look at that, it's starting to stick to the whisk. A little bit more sugar into there. It is getting there, boy. You want to take a little pinch in between your fingers and rub it like that, and it shouldn't be grainy. You shouldn't feel the sugar, but I can feel it. So more whisking needed. As I say, if you do this with a blender, it comes out a lot better. But this is what you're looking for, because that's actually pretty decent. Go on, the temptation. Well, that's actually pretty good. We're going to do the test on the gram. Okay, we are on to the meringue part of these chocolates, and they say if you've done the meringue properly, you can tip the bowl upside down and it won't land on your head. Ready? Hey! We got good meringue, boys and girls. I don't have a piping bag, so I'm going to fill this bag up with the meringue, and then we're going to pipe it onto a baking tray with a baking sheet on it. You are fucking kidding me. Okay, so basically on the show, I used red food colouring. I painted it on the inside of the piping bag, and then as you pass the meringue through it, it comes out red. So I'm going to try and do that again today. So we're just going to squeeze that in there like so. Sort of rub that around a little bit, like so. And then what should happen, as you pass the meringue through it, it should have a nice little red tint on it. Here's another tip for you. So get yourself a jug. Put the bag into the jug, and then you can open it up like this, and then it makes it easier to put the meringue in. Just fold that into the bag. We're going to lift that up, squeeze it all the way down, grab our baking tray. Let me move the camera down quickly. Cut the corner off of this, squeeze the meringue through, and then we're going to pipe little kisses. The bit at the end is the key to making it nice shape. Pull up at the end. And then you're going to get them in the oven on a very low temperature, probably 150, for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so our coulis is nice and cool. We're going to grab our chocolate shells back. They have now set, as you can see. And you can either put this into a piping bag or pour it straight in. It's in a jug, so I'm just going to pour it straight in. You want to fill these moulds up quite well. You don't want too thick a bottom. You'd have seen from the show that Ruth told me I had a thick bottom. To which the hairy biker said, it's all the training he does. The chocolates are filled up with the strawberry and raspberry coulis. Look at that, glistening. Now it's time to let them set. The judge on the show told me not to do this, but I did it and it worked out really well. I'm now going to put these into the freezer, so the coulis freezes, so when you put the bottom layer of chocolate over it, it doesn't mix with that and it caps it off really nicely. So I really want this to be a liquidy centre. By freezing it, setting it, and then letting it cool down to room temperature, the inside then goes nice and gooey, and when it hits your mouth, it just explodes in your mouth. So they're going in the freezer now to set, and then we're going to cap it off with chocolate. Okay, I've just taken the meringues out of the oven, and they are absolutely perfect. So I really like them when they're crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside. Crunchy on the outside, nice and gooey and chewy on the inside. So decent. Oi, oi, right guys, we're back in the kitchen. It's actually been 2 days since you last saw me. I've been here, there and everywhere. I haven't even slept in my house. Oh, and I've got my t-shirt on. Shut it, chef boy! Oh, God. I'm putting on a bit of weight. Anyway, right, so we are back onto the chocolates. I've just re-tempered the chocolate that I made the other day that you won't know anything about because you'll have just seen it edit to here. So, the chocolate's melted. I'm just going to get the chocolates out of the fridge and we're going to pour the bottoms in. That's now frozen, and all that means is it just won't mix with the chocolate when I cap them off. And then we'll leave them at room temperature. We'll let that coulis dissolve, and it's going to be absolutely banging. Oi, look at these, by the way. What do you know about the Biscoff Kit Kats? I've got 3 bags of them, boy. This chocolate is warm. This is a frozen filling, so it's probably going to melt quickly. So what I'm going to do is just pour this on, and then acting quickly, we're just going to push all that chocolate into the moulds to cap them off, and then allow them to set again. So, chocolate on. Palette knife in hand. We're just going to push that around. Oh, it just glides so elegantly. Go on, Temptation, you absolute ledge. We're going to have the world's best chocolates in a minute. Right, now what you want to do is make sure that you scrape off as much chocolate as possible so the moulds come out nicely. I might have just completely fucked that because fuck, I didn't think that through. You're the cock, you're the cock, you're the cock. Right, they're going to be flipping hard to get out. Basically what happened there, and I shouldn't have done that, why did I do that? The mould is absolutely freezing, so when I pulled the chocolate over, that chocolate is almost set immediately. And now the fucking washing machine's on, everything's going wrong. This could be a redundant YouTube video, but you learn, don't you? Fuck's sake. Next thing you're going to see is me getting these out of the mould, so keep your fingers crossed for temps, hopefully this works. Yum. I'm going to have to edit this back and cut the bit where I said, nah, Ruth said don't do it, but you can do it. Basically, I have completely fucked these chocolates up, and what happened was, so obviously, this is a liquid that's inside, and to cap the chocolate off, you need to put chocolate over the top, fill it all in, and then you should tip them up, and they should pour out. But obviously, if you put chocolate on that, it will just mix together. So the idea was to freeze that so that goes hard, then pour the chocolate over the top to cap it off. Basically, what I did is I did that, didn't let the mould warm up, so when I poured the chocolate over it just didn't mould together with the chocolate case on the bottom, and the result is, let me try and get one out. That's what happens. The chocolate top comes off and not the bottom, so I will make them again at some point. So disappointing. And I've got it all down me, look. So that YouTube video was a complete and utter fail. Don't know what I'm going to do. Fucked it. Absolutely hashtag fucked it. Anyway, thanks for joining in to my YouTube channel. Join me again next time and hopefully I can make some better chocolates. Temps out. Yes, I'm back, people, and I'm feeling a lot better today. So after yesterday's complete fuck up of the chocolates, I meditated, I've had a good night's sleep, and I've given them another go. So you'll notice that I've given them another go in a different mould. I've actually had a couple of problems with that other mould. I'm not going to blame the mould though, it was me. This time I did everything exactly the same. The one difference is I didn't freeze the filling while it was in the mould. So basically what happened was, froze the filling, the mould got too cold. When I put the hot chocolate on, it just set to the mould and it didn't work. But we've given this another go. We're just going to show you the finished product. Yes! Oh, they're beautiful. Look at that. The shine on that suggests that the chocolate has been perfectly tempered and there's no filling oozing out. They're all looking very good, all uniform and shiny. So basically, yeah. Hopefully you've watched this video the whole way through and not frozen it before you've seen the final outcome. Do not freeze it. Basically what I did is I put the filling in, don't put it all the way up to the top, get the chocolate in a piping bag and pipe around the edges of the mould to secure the edges. And then you can fill the middle in, then you just let it to set, and then they come out like this. So, thank you very much for watching this YouTube channel. I'll be doing more of these tutorial videos, so make sure you come back, let me know what else you want to see. And in the meantime, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Everything. Right, cool. Temps out.